So we're here at Scapegoat podcast number 4 now. So we've got actually a new person. We've got Tommy Concrete. Hey,
hi.
So, well, fucking exploited ex-guitarist, man of the hour, like fucking Tommy Concrete, own band, all this sort of.
I'm not exactly new.
Yeah, you've been around. We've got Curious Castaway Mike sitting here, and then we've got Duncan Mountain down the end, Red Cross Cult Master, all that sort of stuff. So we're just talking about Yawning Man a moment ago. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Just do that for fun now.
So yeah, you're saying they're playing through an audio in Glasgow, yeah?
Aye. Well, yeah, like them and supporters, Bacchus, Baracus.
Yeah.
So, I think we spoke about this last time.
Yeah, they're
But
absolutely
I finally did get my ticket, and it was pretty cheap, like 13 squid. You're like,
See, you're the everyman. You finally got your ticket, bro.
yeah, it's a physical ticket, so I get to show up there and be like, look, a physical ticket.
An actual thing.
Whereas every other ticket I own will be on my phone, and I'll just be that guy going,
Yeah.
it's there.
I must admit, I can't have actually say I've been to a gig which I've got a ticket on my phone.
Yeah.
I just buy it at the door or like just buy a physical ticket.
No.
I'm not part of this technological advance.
I've only just started doing it.
Like,
When you buy a ticket and like you buy the gig ticket like 3 days before the gig and then they're like, we'll post it to you. I find that extremely stressful.
Yeah.
Just like, what if I'm not in?
put a name on the door, man, it'll be fine.
What if your neighbor gets it, you forget about it, then your neighbor's like, fuck it, I'll go to this gig. And he gets it, he's like, I actually hate this.
Yeah, my face is fucking melted.
Yeah. But the weird thing was I went to Ticket Scotland to get it, and it was like, hey man, do you have Yawning Man tickets? And then again, just gives you that look of like, you've just said a strange word, let me look this up. She was like, oh, we do have it, but hang on, I need to put it up on like the screen or something. Like it just wasn't on in their printout. I think I was like the first person to buy like a physical ticket for it there, and they were just like, yes, I have to now put
Weird
this on
little
the
man,
system.
why'd you want this?
Yeah. What is this? It's like, that's when I was just like, I'll just get the body ticket online. Fuck it, I'm out. I don't want to just now throw in another weird thing for this lady to look up.
Well, almost like resenting you for buying it.
What? How dare you?
You're one of those alternative types.
Yeah.
I guess
You've
maybe.
got to like the circus and that's it.
No, I hate the circus. It's depressing.
You can go see the Spice Girls
Could do.
instead. You know?
Oh man, 4/5 of the Spice Girls,
Yeah,
man.
for 100 quid or something, is it?
Well, fucking worth it.
Fucking hell.
I mean,
Honestly,
they're an arena act.
Fuck that! Stop derailing this shit. But yeah, I was going to say you've been a pretty busy boy. You've got like a fucking Motorhead tribute band on the go. You've got another of the Tommy Concrete releases just out, or is it
EP out last week, yeah.
last week? Yeah, there it was.
Leftovers from the Unrelaxed album
Yeah.
last year, which I put out, and I had 3 songs left over from it. And they were sitting about, and I thought, well,
Needs to do something.
I'll just stick them out, you know. And that's been good to get it out. Really weird. I had 1 review so far, which is really good.
Yeah.
But
Was it solely just you, or did you collaborate with anybody, like with production side? Or?
well, it was from Unrelaxed, which is my last album, which Brian Ramage of Ramage Inc. produced.
Ramage Inc. fame, yeah.
And that was, I had 15 songs for that, but wanted it to be, I was dead set on the album being able to fit on one side of a C90.
Right, okay.
So I wanted it to be like under 45 minutes,
Yep.
which meant that took 3 songs out. And it was also a little bit long at an hour because it's really challenging with a lot of different musical styles, and I like to have sudden U-turns in the music.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know what's going on, and suddenly, no, you don't actually know what's
yeah.
going on, and fuck. And so after an hour of almost tormenting the listener, it's actually a little bit easier to...
A touch easier going for Tommy Concrete.
Would you like 45 minutes instead? Yes.
Yeah.
And so, but the songs were good. So I thought, right, okay, let's stick them out. And it's actually weird because there's such a variety of musical styles on the album that actually when you listen to the 3 tracks that are on the Trauma EP, it's actually like even a wider range of what's going on.
But
you know,
you like for people that do not know, this is pretty much one of the legends of the scene. Like he doesn't just do music; he does like kind of you write and do poetry and like all this sort of lot as well, man. You're always constantly in the scene doing something. You're always lurking about, which is awesome. And it's like what you've got. I've just seen that you've done like a 59 reviews of the 59 releases or something that you've done on.
Oh no, yeah, I did. In the lead up to Trauma coming out, I did a discography rundown. So every solo track that I'd done across my 5 albums and 1 EP. I just explained one a day. And then miraculously, on the 60th day, you know, my new stuff came out.
Cool.
But I mean, apart from that, I mean, that's like, I was trying to count up what I've actually done just before coming here, and it's like 5 solo albums.
Fucking loads.
5 solo albums and an EP, 3 albums with Jack Leather Gather Dead, instrumental doom. Did 5 albums with Doomlord, which was psychedelic doom, and 9 albums with Shitball, which was
Matthew
Shitball.
Dennett and Battalion's Fate and all that lot.
Did 4 albums with Dogmuck, did 3 EPs with Warp Spasm, I think 2 albums and 2 EPs with Cosmic Juggernaut, maybe 3 or 4 EPs with Concrete Head. And Warp Spasm, Cosmic Juggernaut and Concrete Head were also with Mike, who drums for Mastiff, and that was with our first band was together.
And then Man of the Hour, you remember
fucking
that?
hell.
There's just too much, man.
It's over 60 albums
Amazing.
that I've done in 30 years and 1 book.
So this then leads to the question.
I think that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and also we fucking remembered it all, which is saying something.
I can remember it all.
But this is my point. All right. So this then begs the question: why? Why do you go to this extent? Why are you pushing so hard to keep on doing this? And as I say, utilizing the scene as doing the DIY and yada yada yada.
Well, it's my way of experiencing the world, I think.
Okay.
You know, I'd like to experience the world as in, like, this afternoon is quite good. You know, this is really good. Spending my time promoting something that I've put out, spending my time recording something. I don't do it anymore. I don't like doing it anymore. But I spent a great deal of time roadieing for people. Did a fair bit of tour management, driving folk about. Did the Door Here for 7 years. You know, it's got to be something to do with it.
Yeah, you
I'm
are
not
part
interested
of the fabric. That's
in
the
anything
point.
else. You know, I don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah.
And so my way of experiencing life itself, I don't know, trying to make. I think it's one of the boys from Sleep, I can't remember which one, not Mike Pike, one of the other two, said that life's like some sort of like fucking horrible problem, and the best way to solve it is riffs.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
That sounds like Al.
Yeah. Bass player.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, there's riffs. We can solve this with riffs, and that's me. I'm trying to solve it.
Yeah.
But I kind of see you as a kindred spirit in that way, man, because it's like we do go to a lot of gigs, even if it's something that isn't in our wheelhouse, just try it out, new bands, as I say, like contributing to the scene, doing the door, help promote, or whatever it is. It's kind of, it's not just an individual act, it's a whole community that's involved in it, and I think that the more people that get involved, and especially to the degree that you have, that literally will lift us all up. And I think that's absolutely wonderful.
I don't know anyone that isn't doing this.
Yeah.
You know, apart from maybe the couple of like normal people that you know in the day job, you know. But that's,
the normies.
You know, maybe about 1% of my life isn't in a band, doesn't do a podcast or a website or something.
I suppose also it's just like if you do it, you feel comfortable with, like, these are your people.
Yeah.
And you're like, why would I? Man, you're gonna sound bad. Why would I hang out with people who aren't doing this? Like, I mean, I have nothing in common with these people, so I'll just hang out with these people that I do like and do the same thing as me.
Yeah.
Even in like a kind of similar yet different, like last night, I'm thinking about putting like visuals on, like playing a film or something while I've put on a gig. So just weird and wonderful bits of footage. And I just put up a message the other day on Facebook, and the amount of rapport of like, everyone needs to check out this weird ass film. And it's not like I was going, oh, well, this guy's a film critic, or he's educated in film matters. It was just I put it out there, but the amount of rapport going, well, we like the same music.
Yeah.
So most probably we're going to have a very similar taste in other things apart from just music.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works out great.
I was going to ask Tommy, like, how have you found, like, you obviously came to Scotland, how long, about 15, 20 years ago?
2000
years ago.
2,000 years ago.
Like, you like in like Man of the Hour and stuff. So how have you found over that time, like the end music scene? Is it we think it's in good health right now, but have you found it's like changed at all? Or?
Good health. That's a good way of putting it, because if you mean good health as in like it's a vibrant scene, then it's not as good as it used to be. But if you mean good health as in like good health, then it's a lot healthier than it used to be.
Like a lot of us used to shack our bodies up something wrong back in the day.
But the really interesting and cool bit about when Man of the Hour started in 2003 was there was a lot going on here, but it was new metal was still sort of about, you know, and so there was still all of that was going on, and it was sort of just about to die, but it didn't know it was going to die. And while it happened, we were just starting, and Banner of the Hour was very much influenced by actual metal, you know, Judas Priest, and also, you know, later bands like Sepultura and Pantera and Slayer. And so we were getting this together, and we had twin lead guitar and all that business, and back then
Matt Justice,
and
and who's the other?
and Stevie Power plays in.
So it was Stevie Power.
Plays in Lucifer's Corpus, and of course
Sue, Bud, and
Sue,
yourself.
who's doing the Triple G stuff, and Bud, who is doing Hellraiser. So everyone's moved on.
And Lucifer's Corpus.
Yeah. To do stuff, but in it was funny because back then it was still all the silly trends, like the singer used to stand on the floor with his back to the audience and we're not going on the stage because it's too rock star and all these sort of things that were going on, and it was like, no, we're going on the stage absolutely full of coke with a fucking foot on the monitor and the pointing and the what the fuck's going on. And then, you know, we would go on, and then the other bands, it was great because you could actually, we were going around the country killing new metal. It was great. You know, we would play, and they'd be like, we'd play with whatever bands that were on, and they'd be like, you know, oh, no one understands me. Yeah. I'm like, fuck off. And they would die, and then you'd see people hearing heavy metal for the first time. Wow. And then the next time you'd come round, those bands didn't exist anymore, and there'd be some more metal sort of thing happening.
Yeah, Man of the Hour was definitely a force to be reckoned with. You as a front man was fucking insane. Your mic stand as well, like that was a beautiful creation.
Like, mic stand made of Tanners cans. You know,
it was so good. So good.
Yeah, but it was also fucking ridiculous. It was sort of like it happened, but I think what was good was there's a lot of bands that have done sort of actually technically done a lot more than we did, like that were followed in the wake, like Dog Tired and King Witch and, you know, Hair of the Dog and bands like that have given us a bit of a props, and that's because we fucking nearly killed ourselves doing it. You know, it's like, but that was it. You know, that was it. We didn't. I don't know.
But at that era of time, there was very few bands that were pushing it as hard as you, both musically and socially, if you want to put it.
Socially, yes.
Yes. So we're going for a bit of a chat. But yeah, like I would say that it wasn't all in good fun though.
There wasn't really a blend though. I think that was maybe, if you look back and why people related to what we were doing. And also part of that scene was obviously the Tank Lizard Kings and Certain Death, and we were the unholy trinity, the three of us. When we used to play, that was quite something.
Well, Stu would do your sound most of the time as well if you were travelling and stuff like that.
We were all worked for each other. We're all part of it, you know. And that was, but there wasn't an end. It didn't stop. You know, it was like after the stage show. It wasn't like, oh, we're not Man of the Hour anymore.
Yeah.
I'm no longer Certain Death now. You know, it was like they all lived together. They had a fucking house up fucking in Leith Walk, and that was like, I don't know, like, what the fuck that was like. It was like some sort of like hell.
Bosch painting.
It was like Hieronymus Bosch paints the monkeys or something. It's like, what the fuck, you know? But it was real and it happened, and I think
that also like consolidated the scene, like having them few bands that had also played and also getting like a viewership, a fanship, if you want to call it. That then definitely solidified it, because back I'd say about 15, 16 years ago, that's when I first came into it, and you guys were already established. It was like, they're the band to see, instead of just, oh no, they're just a local band, if you get what I'm saying. So they were the ones which were fighting to get like second top bill or something like that when the touring band comes around. It was great.
I mean, we were lucky because we happened, as I said, right as new metal died, you know, and I'd like to take credit that I personally killed new metal, but, you know, we didn't. We happened...
You definitely put the knife in it.
You know, we happened at that time where, you know, people wanted something different and we had it.
Yeah.
You know, at that point, and it was good, but also, I think it's interesting to see how that's fucking great. Talk about Man, that one's a big revving sound right on cue, like. No, it's interesting. Like how some of the bands that have come since have been very not like that whatsoever, and really nice and fresh and
there's a
clean
lot of business
and organised
and
we're going to do a great gig. It's going to be great. It is. It's really good fun.
But
I had a great time.
I would say that's more of like.
And what I'm saying is, I'm thinking there's probably people watching this now that I don't know, maybe 15 or 16, and they're thinking, in the same way that some of the clean cut bands that are around now maybe looked at Man of the Hour, Talent Seeking Consent Death, and thought, what a bunch of fucking junkies, this isn't train spotting.
Yeah.
You know, I actually want to do some proper gigs, you know, fuck that. And they've done what they're doing. There's a bunch of kids now thinking, fuck these boring twats, we're going to be rock and roll again, you know.
Well, I would say this all depends on how they see it, because the thing is that, like, I only see it as if you are genuine. Like, if you're acting like that on stage, if you're acting like the drunken Slash and Axl Rose, like, woo, we're gonna go and do all this crazy mad shit and write a fucking book about it, but when you meet them, they're like this average Norman straight edge guy, then that's not going to be genuine in my eyes. Vice versa. If you're straight edge, I don't care. If you play a killer show and you just promote that straight edge fact, that's fine with me. But as I say, is if they start to dilute that, that's where I've got a problem. Because it's a lot of folk like the look of it being, oh, you're the metalhead, so you've got to get your tattoos and, as I say, like, drink fucking buckfast and get absolutely fucked up on Nookie Brown, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a very different sort of vibe that I mentioned earlier, like bands that people haven't remembered. Maybe they should have done, like Friday Night Gunfight were a really, really good band back then. Like a frightening hardcore band. Like, not just like, we're a hardcore band, we're a frightening hardcore band. And Gus was like, fucking hell. You know, it was like, you know, when you get like a large planet and its gravitational pull pulls in asteroids towards it and they can't help it. Well, when he was on the dance floor, when he was playing, it was like the mosh pit was all people just getting pulled into his gravitational field, and they would just be destroyed on contact.
I used to really like Suffering Fuck for that reason. Like they were kind of like,
it was
these
kind
are
of
gnarly, like, you know.
Yeah,
in Decades Decline.
This is actually dangerous.
Yeah,
of course, Decades as well.
Yeah. Martin Decades band in Decades Decline. That was another one that, like, they played with bands like Napalm and stuff like that. That was like, yeah, this is pretty interesting. Martin also played for like Oi Polloi as well, so it was like really pushing that aggro front for a while. And it kind of, I think it was
actually just realizing this now, because they were before us.
And
Decades. Decades Decline. And I think what we actually had, which was different to the lot of the metal scene and the rock scene, was we had that punk fuck you thing, and we just, which came from the hardcore and the stuff like that. And I was obviously, like, I was doing heavy metal, so people didn't know me apart from that. But, you know, I'd just come off the back of 9 albums with Shitball, which was just totally chaotic punk hardcore, you know. And then all you did was put that same dickhead in tight snakeskin pants. You know? It's like, hi, it's something different now. No, it isn't.
I want to see some photos of this.
Oh man, I've got the CD, like the album of Man of the Hour, and on the inlay, as you open it up, there's one of the best photographs of all mankind, because it's like young Tommy, young Matt, young Stevie Power, young Bud. Oh, it's so good. It's one of the best photos ever.
Yeah, but it was like, you know, Man of the Hour was heavy metal, but of course Bud drummed in the Gin Goblins as well.
Yeah,
and Matt, you know, is obviously one of the main longest staying guitar players the Exploiters ever had. Yeah. And then I was in for 5 seconds as well.
Yeah, like, and there's
there was a hell of a lot of actual punk and hardcore in there that I think really give it its, you know, but not, I don't know.
I think we're in league with each other, like the punk and the metal lot. Like, as I say, it's kind of, we can at least see where these guys are coming from, and at the same time, like, acknowledge that they're a thing instead of just being like, oh, you're a fucking nutter. Like, because normality looks at us like we're all fucking three-headed mad people, you know. So
when you've ever had to explain what your band does to somebody who doesn't like anything heavy, like, we sound like a heavy AC/DC.
You describe what it is and go, oh, you mean like Slipknot?
Yeah,
like Slipknot.
Well, it was like when I went on holiday to work to go to the Czech Republic to go see Brutal Assault. It's like, oh, what are you doing when you're over there? It's like, I'm going to a 14th century fort to go and see loud, angry bands play in like 35-degree heat. And they're like, what? Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? It's meant to be a holiday, man.
Oh, is that like Slipknot?
Yeah, I was like, fuck off, man. I've heard of that band. Fuck you.
Back when I started, it used to be, is that like Bryan Adams?
That must have cut deep.
Yeah. Hey, we're doing progressive death metal. Oh, you mean like Bryan Adams?
Or Phil Collins. So what have you been up to down that end then? Apart from dying slowly, like, I know you're a bit ill, but
Well, I think if this comes out next week,
Which it will.
before the weekend is over, we've got Everest Queen and Archelon coming up from I think it's Stevenage and Sheffield, doing kind of post-metal sludge type stuff.
Yeah, they're on Black Skull.
Black Skull, yeah. And at the end of the month, we've got Ritual King from Manchester, they're like a stoner rock band with the Solar Suns from Dundee.
Yeah, man, Solar
So
Suns are
kind of progressive,
awesome.
heavy metal type stuff. And then a bit of a gap over the summer.
Because fuck that.
Yeah. and then back to it in September with some other stuff. But I'll be on a podcast nearer the time and remind myself what that is.
I know you might be a bit modest, but I can definitely tell you that the 100-Year-Old Man gig is top fucking drawer, man. You've done it again. So it's like 100-Year-Old Man, Ren, Somesthesia, and Code Speaker.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the four.
And then also the next day in Glasgow as well. So it'll be 100-Year-Old Man and Ren, probably with two local Glasgow bands.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is like 100-Year-Old Man for me are like one of the bands to see. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think
like right now they constantly kill it, and like again that they seem to be this kind of homogenized super group of everything of the northern English part that plays post metal.
I think with us being up in Scotland, I think sometimes you see echoes of festivals of stuff that's going down in England. You see a lot of the same names kind of cropping up, and they're definitely one of them. I think.
We played with them,
you see them.
Werewolves, years and years ago, and I remember it was one of them gigs where I remember like 5 or 6 bands on a shit venue somewhere, and it wasn't a particularly inspiring evening, and then they came on, and it was like and I just got the feeling like I'm going to be hearing more of these.
Yeah. Well, it was.
I'm going to be hearing more of these, and then indeed I did.
Because it was when you put them on last, and you had what was it? We Came From the North.
We Came From the North.
They were the main
Phosphorus from Glasgow.
Yeah, that was another killer
That
fucking
was a
show.
really good gig.
But
that was all a bit kind of cobbled together, I think, because it was on the Sunday in Edinburgh, and it was a bit kind of last minute. So I think some people kind of questioned the lineup a little bit.
there was a couple of other gigs going on as well.
And, basically, it was just like it turned out to be an awesome night, but at the time it was a bit kind of cobbled together.
But they fucking smash it, man. Like they are one of the best bands to see live. Like as I say, I've got a like top 5, but definitely they're top 3 for sure. So what about you then, Mikey boy? You just staying quiet?
Yeah. Well, I mean, still just working away. Probably going to be getting a bit more involved with some of the video editing for Scapegoat soon.
You got any plans for anything that you want to do yourself?
At the moment, it's still just in the works, really, because everything's in September.
Yeah.
My personal things that I'm going to be chucking in on the website. So yeah, that just again is in September. So once I start organizing close to the time, I'll be like, stay tuned. It's coming.
So we'll just
There'll be
have to
some-
like back you up and just keep on the PR drive until September. So you guys keep fucking
Yeah,
waiting.
you guys just keep waiting. I'll find some weird noises out there and then I'll bring it in and put it up.
Frequencies. as
So
you
what's
frequencies.
what's your like your niche? What do you sort of like?
Everything, man. Well, like I said, like
No, I mean that sets you apart. You know what I mean? Like I love everything as well, but there's a few things that I'm
yeah,
my
I
weird
suppose,
thing.
like, I guess
Yeah.
more psychedelia. Well,
Yeah, you love the Cosmic Dead. And
like the
stuff.
Cosmic Dead. The weird thing is, like, when I spent time in Asia, and I got like pretty heavily into punk and
I like
hardcore.
that. I like psychedelia. I spent time in Asia.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going somewhere.
Yeah, but like, I spent some time in Asia and got really deep into like punk and hardcore. I was like, man, punk and hardcore, that's the way to go. And then as soon as I got back here, I was like, psychedelia is pretty sweet also. So it really just depends, like, I guess where I am. So like, I'm planning on going to America for a grindcore festival. So when I get there, I'll just be like, fucking grind, yes!
Yeah.
Just be freaking out about grindcore, and
Yeah, like-
that's all I'll be listening to. So it's just dependent.
Yeah.
One of the things
Yeah.
that me and Mike do quite often is the top trumps of weirdery.
Yeah.
It literally can be fucking anything, but it's just outside of the norm. So it could be like Captain Beefheart's like
Yeah.
fucking weird clarinet, but with a grindcore backtrack. Yeah, we'll send it to each other.
Yeah, that's the thing.
As I say, his term for it is just frequencies.
Yeah, just just want
Yeah.
to.
Like, it's just this
sounds.
weird thing because you can't really describe it because it's not noise, it's not doom, it's not grind, it's
No.
not really anything. It's
But at the same time, yeah, like punk and hardcore, I'm still fucking mad into that. I still follow some of the Asian bands. Like
Yeah.
there's a website called Unite Asia, and just because punk and hardcore is so big there,
Yeah.
it's constantly just being updated. And I'm always just like, ooh, a Nepalese pop punk band. Listen to that and be like, yep, don't know what they're saying. That's awesome. And write that down. I have to go to Kathmandu one day and hang out with these dudes
Check
because
them
they're
guys
fucking
out.
weird.
I seen in Liverpool, must have been fucking 2000 maybe, Melt Banana.
Yeah,
And
they're
that
coming
was-
to Edinburgh.
And that was like, it was totally indescribably intense, but it was so indescribably intense that I didn't have any sort of like reaction. I was just like watching it like, what is this even?
That's-
like
as soon as you start to question, that's when the black hole of doubt opens up.
Yeah.
It's like, don't question it, just watch it.
but then like a really sort of like, there was clearly some sort of real cultural like misunderstanding, communication like thing going on, and it was such an apologetic performance. Oh, yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
sort of thing. I'm like, and like the fucking chandeliers,
Yeah.
but the lights were pulled down in the place. It was because it was them and the Voorhees.
Yeah.
In some back room of a pub, and I'm like,
They're not going to get booked again in a hurry.
And I've got to say, at the time, I would have said I didn't remotely like that whatsoever. But
Yeah.
it's 20 years later, and I can remember the exact gig to the total millisecond for the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
It was just like, this has been beamed into your mind. You will
Yeah.
never forget this.
Well, I mean,
It's unbelievable.
Melt
you know?
Banana is actually coming back here in October. I want to say they're playing the Caves.
Really?
Is that next door? That's next
That's
door.
just
Yeah.
across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're playing in this area.
No way.
on the
That's a
18th
really
of
odd venue
October.
for them to play from.
Because like one of the dudes at work just shared it. He was like, "These dudes are coming." I was like, "18th of October. I might not be here, but I think I am actually going to be here." So I was like, "I'm going to that," because that's fucking weird enough that I'm like, "Yep, sign me up."
It was, yeah.
To go back to that point though, that like, I must admit, to have that sensation is amazing. I love
Yeah.
that, just to go and see
Yeah.
something, and also it then doubles down on it if it's a band that you've never seen, heard, or
Yeah.
know anything about.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so dedicated to this DIY scene, because I must admit, the older I get, the less likely it is that I'm going to go to like the Hydro or a O2 and be blown away by a band.
No, that's not happening.
And it also sees, like, as we were talking about before, the more opulent it becomes, the less fucking minded I am about it. So there's a lot of this DIY culture which, like, really gets into my skin. And as I say, it really fucking, like, riles me up. It's like, fucking yes.
I always like it when foreign bands come. Like for me, like taking bookings, I've got a few later on in the year where I've got like I don't mind saying it now actually, I've got this Brazilian band coming along doing like thrash metal stuff.
Exclusive.
Yeah, and exclusive.
What are they called?
Electo.
Ah, I know Electo,
yeah.
man.
So,
I interviewed Will.
Will is he works in Edinburgh, but all his bandmates are in Brazil.
Yeah.
So I just thought that's like a story. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Well-
you want to help these guys bring. their
The other
music
thing
here.
that was really cool is that, like, when I was interviewing them, they had just come back off of a tour and they'd done mostly a whole bunch of squats in Europe. And it was just this, we're coming
Yeah,
now. And then
40
it was
days
like
something.
maybe a week in advance, they would just message the squat to be like, we're in the van. Like, we're coming to this place. Do you want to come and see it? And they were like, yeah, man. It was like every single place that they went to was packed because it was something different instead of it just
40
being.
days to show that.
Yeah. It was insane, man.
That's really cool.
And I've got like just like the same week, so that when I go on tour with them, and then just straight after that, I've got this Icelandic stoner rock band called Volcanova.
Oh, they're playing Eisnaflug, I think. Yeah.
And that was just like a weird kind of like, I was on holiday in Iceland, got talking to somebody, they got talking to someone else, just kind of that kind of.
Well, that's how this industry works, man.
But
Like-
it's those kind of stories that you kind of like, you want to back them because you just think, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
They sound pretty cool, actually.
But I've always wanted to ask you, and also it's handy because it'll be on camera as well. It kind of rolls into this DIY ethic. It's like, what was the shift from you becoming just a bod in a crowd to then actually promoting? Actually going, fuck it, I'm going to put on a band and see.
I think
throw the dice.
I've always been in fairly unpopular bands.
Oh, jeez, man, that got deep.
And no, it's basically just like I've always been in bands that I've always been like frustratingly slow. And you know you're gonna have like an EP ready or something or an album ready in a year.
Yeah.
But you think, can I be asked with the idea of like getting it all ready and then having to do loads of local gigs to then go ask a booking agent or go ask a promoter in another city.
I pressed the button, it fell over.
It's all right. We'll sort it.
Can we come and play a gig?
It fell over.
When I kind of know the 2 or 3 bands that you're probably going to support in Glasgow,
Yeah.
or the 2 or 3 bands you're probably going to support in Dundee. So I just thought, I'll just organise it myself. I'll just do it.
Just get amongst it.
Is there a hair in the gate?
So it's all gone tits up.
It's falling apart.
Is there a hair in the gate?
But it has, it definitely has changed from what I set out to do.
Yeah.
So the first gig I ever did was Geist and Sunlight Spain, and they basically my friend in Geist was just saying, really struggling to get a date in Scotland, and so I've got this American band called Sunlight Spain, and at the time I was just like, I bet they charge, they're from America.
Astronomical prices, yeah.
And then when he told me how much it was, I was like, oh, that's not a lot, and I said, I'll just do it. I was just like, I'll just find a venue in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So that's how that one started. Then I organised a tour for my own band, Glacier, just playing with Glasgow bands that I like, Dundee bands, Aberdeen bands, stuff like that. And then from that, it was like, then you actually get messaged by,
Hey man, I've seen you do a gig.
yeah. And it just snowballed from that, and it just became, it's become something I never meant it to be.
Man, that's what the kind of, well, from my experience doing this, it spirals out of control fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Another thing is like I do like a lot of styles of music, but I think I'm kind of starting to put on more kind of doom and stoner and kind of some psychedelic stuff as well.
you're catering definitely more towards your own taste.
Yeah, but I'm quite at home putting on anything really.
Yeah.
But it just seems to be like the void that needs to be filled, I think.
But it is that case of putting yourself out there, and it also is, as you're saying, if you're going to start booking gigs and things like that, you already start to correlate this database of like not just venues but bands and how much they cost and what they need for like the backline and their requests that go along with it. You just
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the thing. The more that you've got of that, then the likelihood you can build then upon it is nice and easy.
But yeah, I mean, it's like the first kind of year doing it, I just said I'll just do it and just see what happens. Expect to make losses, expect to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Just learn the ropes as you go.
Yeah, and that definitely happened. Definitely got burned nearly every other gig. But, but it's just get a bit wiser with it and just kind of making it a bit more. Yeah, just making better decisions, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty much it at the end of the day. That it's like there's always going to be a teething phase. It doesn't matter if you're like learning guitar or whatever it is. It's like you will start off crap, and you've got to then like just work at it to refine it and make it better. And it's kind of weird because I see a lot of folk like work in the tattoo industry, and then folk go, "Oh man, I wish I could draw." And you're sitting in the shop watching this guy day in day out draw, then go home and then draw some more, and then wake up in the morning, then draw, and then tattoo you, and then draw, and it's like, oh, I wish I could do that. So, no, that guy worked at that to be that good. And it's the same deal with like promoters, musicians, artists, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's just getting yourself out there to actually get that thing sorted. And everyone's gonna have teething problems.
Right.
I'll say the fucking banner just fell down. The camera just fell. It's like at the end of the day, this is going to be 95% complete, but in time, hopefully it could be 100. It's that sort of deal. Yeah. So, what else has been cracking, man?
I'm promoting my book this month.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I've only got one box of it left. I mean, it came out in 2010,
Right.
but I've only got like one box left. So I thought, right, I'm going to give it a bit of a push because my second one's going to be coming out hopefully as soon as possible. And I thought, well, it'd be good to. It'd be really nice to have none of the first one left.
Yeah, finish with one
when
thing
the
and then
second
go on
one
to the next
comes
one.
out.
Yeah.
What is the book about?
It's called The Wages of Metal.
Cool.
And what it is, it was throughout the 90s, I just used to write down daft things that had happened at gigs.
Yeah.
And I had tons and tons and tons of it. And my dad was like, he was like, because he's an author, he's a published author and that, and he was like, that's a book sitting there, all that paper. You should turn it into something. And I was like, well, not really, because there's not really a story to it.
No.
And then I got to the point and I thought, well, I know what, I made up a story, and then I just put all of the different anecdotes into it. So it's like a fake story made up of real...
Like a Spinal Tap, if you will.
Yeah, made up of real stuff. So everything in the book actually happened. All the gigs in it are real gigs, and all the people are real people, but the characters aren't real, and you know.
Yeah.
And so it follows the story of a band called Cauldron of Lucifer from the early 90s, and they were involved in the back in the day with the tape trading scene and the photocopying flyers and fanzines and all that business that you know we were doing back then, and that sort of rise of how you know the DIY ethos of that actually became the real thing. You know, as in people like, well, we can't afford a studio, we don't want the studio, fuck the studio, we're going to do it on this
4-track,
broken 4-track. We're not going to, you know, we're going to use headphones. And now people look back at all that Burzum sort of era, and it's all like, oh my god,
that was
people,
so good. Yeah,
people recreate it, but it was. So it's looking at that era, and also looking at how some people, the generations of it, you know, because it's like ages of metal, wages of metal, and what the wages of metal are is experience. It's not money, because people say to you, how much did you get? Well, fuck off, you know. There's a shitball song called 20 quid, what each? And it's like, say, normal people say to you, oh, did you play on the weekend? Yes. And they immediately ask, not was it fun, was the people there, was it great, did you meet new people, they go, how much did you get? They always say that, 20 quid. What each?
Was it?
No, 20 quid you can't.
I think that it's weird. A lot of people then would just, they say that because they assume you get into this because you want to be a rock star, you want to make money, and you're like, I guess. I mean, you want to be a rock star, but like the money aspect of it isn't exactly everything. You enjoy doing what you're doing, and that's almost payment enough. I mean, obviously getting paid is nice.
Yeah.
But at the end, when you come off, you go,
it's
I
not
feel
the
fucking
major
good.
impetus though.
No. Yeah. And so the book, The Wages of Metal, it's literally like, you know, no, I'm not rich, you know, I didn't even have a bed when I was writing it, you know, it was you know, all sorts of, but I go, you know what the wages are? This fucking life experience. A book's worth, there you go.
But again, I always like looking down this path as well, because from the outside part, like customer or viewer of your band wouldn't probably know this about you, that you do write, but it takes a lot to go out of that comfort zone of you being a shredding fucking guitar player and then you're starting to write. So how did that come about? Was that like a conscious thought, or did you just go, fuck it, I've got all these stories, just like...
No, my dad told me to do it. But
it's happening now.
It went from a suggestion to you should do it to you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so right. And then, okay, got it figured out, and then did it. And then it was like, well, you know, I've always been quite into the whole Henry Rollins thing of him doing a lot of stuff rather than just music, you know.
Yeah.
And so I started doing spoken word nights and organising them at Deadhead Comics in the
old one,
which is now Love Hate Tattoo, which I was there an hour ago getting killed in the arm.
Well, the other thing I was going to say as well is that you're a martial artist as well, and not a bad one at that.
I'm a lapsed one.
A lapsed one, all right. Well, you can say that, I can't. You'll kick my ass. Yeah. But that's the thing.
That like, a lapsed Catholic. I'm a lapsed black belt.
I would like if you're happy to regale the story, can you tell how your name came about, Tommy Concrete?
Oh God. Well. I've told loads of lies about why I called that.
Oh, that's brilliant. So I don't know which one I told you, so it's fine, yeah.
And I'm sure some of them are to do with martial arts, but it was, I can actually feel myself going red now. But
that was brilliant, Tommy.
Truly, I used to be in Concrete Head.
Right.
Yeah. And it was like, you know, you'd be like, you would call somebody by what name of what band they were in, you know, second, you know, like Tommy Concrete, you know, and that was it.
It's Chris from Lords.
But it really, really, really stuck because there was a nightclub in Hull called Spiders, and we thought, right, this is going to be brilliant. There was a big billboard outside of it, and it was the main alternative place. Yeah. We're going to flyer a fucking gig. We had loads of A5 flyers. We were at Concrete Head in A5 flyers on this big thing. It was fucking fucking great, we did it and that, we painted it, and then we took it back and we looked at it and it said Akokretsa. And it's like, right.
Well, that didn't work, did it?
No. So for years, and it was Jim Mastiff and fucking Mark Battalions Akokretsa used to just call me that for years, and then can it just be Concrete? So it was Tommy Akokretsa for years, and then turned into Tommy Concrete, which is better. But even funnier was in that same band, Mike. He was called Charlie Saturn, which I'm just so disappointed that look at Mastiff and it just says Mike and like that.
No, it's Charlie Saturn.
And the reason why was he's one of these guys that can grow his beard like up.
Yeah, man.
To all that, and we were saying to him, mate, you could actually have like a circle unbroken all the way around your head, and if you used to grow it out, it would be like Saturn's
a beard
rings.
shell. Yeah.
You could dye it like lilac, and then you would be Charlie Saturn.
the legit OG.
And that lasted years, and so I mean, I don't know. It's just one of them names, but I'm sure there was a martial arts lie to do with it.
Yeah, it was like I'll probably fucking butcher it, but it was something along the lines of like one of the things to get one of your dans or belts or whatever was to teach kids. And the thing was, it was like you're hard as nails. Actually, no, wait a minute, you're as hard as fucking concrete, and that sort of thing. So it's Tommy Concrete, you know, or something to the degree of that.
No, there's actually a grain of truth in that, because when we used to hold the bag, and you get the kids to punch stuff and that, and you go brilliant, great, you know, we just used to start saying stuff like I don't know, like nails, you know, and like brick, and then concrete was one of them, and then we'd shout the kid's name, and it was like Dave, granite, like that, and it got to the point that when I would demonstrate, it would be everyone shout Tommy and then concrete, and that actually did happen a few times.
Right. So there is a whiff of truth to that there.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And
have you ever punched through concrete?
I've punched through slate.
It was jiu-jitsu that you were doing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Man. Your bones must pop and click like.
Oh, no, I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. Like just getting off, just being in the tackle there, and I'm lying on the table trying to get off, and I could barely fucking get off. I can't
man.
And it's like you do martial arts to like prevent yourself from being kicked in. Yeah. And it's like
all you do is get the shit kicked in.
And it's like if I'd have just got kicked in like 3 times,
you'd be done with this game.
I'd be fine.
Yeah.
It'd be hard and calloused.
I'm just going to get kicked in 4 times. Kicked in, like tiny few injuries. I'm like fucked.
Yeah, but no doubt in like how long did you train for? Like the full gambit?
I don't know. It was about 25 years.
Yeah, that's 25 solid years of getting like grabbed, pulled, yanked in the wrong places, and beat up.
Dragging it back into music, I actually got into music through the folk that I used to train with when I was like a little kid, and I went through that, and it was like you try a few things out, like go to Cubs, didn't like Cubs.
Yeah.
Went to Boys Brigade, that was like some sort of like weird like Christian
Not your thing.
army cult, and then a few things, and then went to jiu-jitsu down the road, and all the boys that was training there turned up on motorbikes with all grebs and that beards on, and I'm like this.
Yeah. Same boys look around.
And I must have been about 10 or 11 and stuff like that, and I'm saying to me, oh, do you like music? And he goes, oh yeah. And he goes, what do you like? I said, oh, Jimi Hendrix. My brother listens to Jimi Hendrix. He's like, oh really? Mm-hmm. And actually got given Black Sabbath albums and albums off my instructor, and got taken out to a nightclub, Romeo's and Juliet's, and fucking hell, I was actually telling someone about this the other day. Back then there was like fucking, it's not so inclusive as it is now with different genres hanging out with each other. Back then it was like, we should call it Grebs, and Grebs was anything that was like Motorhead or thrash or anything, and then glam, and there was no mix. There was no mix whatsoever. And they used to listen to on the Hanoi rock songs, and they used to dance to it. They'd all be in a circle and doing this weird thing, and I remember my instructor Rich, oh, watch this, and this ran across the dance floor, did this flying kick, baff, into the back of one of them, and you see about 15 of these glam rockers all just go, oh, it's like, in we go, bam, and I'm like, never been to a nightclub before, oh, this is it, this is what clubs are like, and then like, a few years later, moving now to London and realising, no, they're not like that.
That was just one particular one.
Yeah. That's where I came from. But all those things like martial arts and music was intrinsically linked. And it's interesting when you see how it's also the same in a lot of bands have that, like Biohazard, who was really
Billy
intense.
Bio,
Met him once and was chatting with him for quite a while about jiu-jitsu and that, and he was like, hey, let's get the mats up, let's go for it. And I'm like, no,
it's been a while. Yeah.
No, and there's me like with a massive beer gut and a joint and a pint. No.
Whatever you think's happening is not happening.
I think I've missed this opportunity by 15 years, but yeah.
Because this is I've got a very, very similar story. It's pretty much beat by beat, but instead of it being martial arts, it was skateboarding. It was exactly the same thing, and it was like I had my own few bits and bobs of music and skate culture that I enjoyed, and then as soon as you step into a skate park and it's just like, then it's like, oh, them guys look the same as me and blah blah blah. You just get filled up with all this new information and then off you go. Yeah. And even now it's like I keep on going back to some of the kind of early skate videos that I used to watch. It's like, reminisce, even though they've got like a hip hop soundtrack or whatever, but it's just the clique that we were in.
Yeah. It's essentially like hurting yourself for fun.
Pretty much, yeah. You got to love the feel of asphalt after a while when you skate, but like I'm not bothering with that shit anymore.
First time you proper badly came off your skateboard really hurts.
Yeah,
man.
Shit.
It's what's stopping me from doing it again.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd really like to learn to skate again. And I'm like, but I actually have a job that I need to be
Well, this
at.
was the weird thing. When I got involved in skateboarding, I wasn't that fearless kid, like 10 years old or younger. And I wasn't decent. I hadn't like graduated in like, if you think about 16, 17, 18, where you can kind of get the grips of it. I was in that weird middle ground. Yeah. So the young kids didn't want to skate with me, and the older crew thought I was a young kid. Yeah. So the thing was, I was like kind of trapped in this middle thing until obviously like folk turned around and went, hey, do you want to like sit over there and roll a smoke? I'm like, yeah, okay. And then they're like, here's a 12 set of stairs. Like, we're going to go, because we're all adults, and go and skate this set of stairs. It's like me as 14. Just throwing a set of stairs. Nah, not fun. Like, got holes in like my elbows and my cartilage and my knees are fucked. But yeah, that's another story for another day. But yeah, we're going to wrap this up then, and then put a little pin in it for next time. So we're going to start that end. As I say, you've already spoke about a few gigs, but anything in particular that's standing out?
I think I've mentioned most of them there. We've got Man-Made Origin, kind of progressive metal band from Dundee, doing a little weekend run.
Yeah.
So I'll be going around with them. And I think that's it, really. Yeah. I think I've mentioned pretty much most things. There's a few things that might, come together soon, but nothing set in stone yet. So just check out the Red Cross page.
Yeah, go check out Duncan and give him a pat on the head because he's feeling rather ill right now. So he's doing good. So send him love.
Good
Mike.
luck. There's Vomfest on.
Oh,
well, it would be last week.
It would be,
And it was great.
And it was fucking great because Tommy's playing.
I saw Tommy. He was great.
Great.
I'm going to that. Only going to see the first 4 bands, which I'm pretty excited about. Yeah. All the local acts.
Disposable, Iron Altar, Tommy, and Scumpulse.
Scumpulse?
No,
it's
Hammer.
Hammer, that was it, yeah.
Then Iron Altar, then Disposable.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to go see that. I'm pretty stoked. And then this Saturday, I'm going to go to your gig.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Timelines are being interwoven here.
Oh, your reaction.
I was like, what gig?
What year is it?
Yeah, Everest Queen gig. Yeah.
I'll be at that because I booked the day off and everything.
I was still a week behind there thinking of the Fun Fest we just went to.
Yeah.
I must admit as well, I will have to give a shout out to John Paul Davis of Black Skull. He's doing a lot of good stuff right now. And pretty much all the bands on there, if you like slow, angry music, you will definitely like everything off of Black Skull. Fucking killing it. Conan fame, by the way. Tommy boy?
I've
You've got loads of shit, so go for it.
Okay, well, I've got my new EP, Trauma, which I'm pushing and I really like.
Is that physical format or digital?
Digital, and that's £1. My last album, Unrelaxed, which is my most critically acclaimed thing I've done. So I'm pretty chuffed at my age, after 60 albums, to do your best one. It's probably my last
incrementally
one
getting better every time.
I'm pushing that. That's cheap. I'm a book. The discount code Capricorn for all of June. You get my book for half price. TommyConcrete.bandcamp.com. And best of all, in August when everyone's saying there isn't any gigs. Tommy Concrete and the Wells and Mastiff are playing 2 gigs here and at the Icebox Centre in Glasgow the last
Cool.
Thursday, Friday in
I
August.
want to check out that place because it's quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. Run by a guy called Jamie, and I'm not a fan of Glasgow whatsoever, and the way that things are run there, which is another 10-hour podcast on its own. But,
So we'll get you back then, just for that.
No, but the thing is, he's how he runs that. He runs that not the same as, it's not cliquey. It's not like you can't talk to me unless you pass through this business wall. You know, it's really DIY. It's like a bring your own bottle space, and they put amazing stuff on there at the Icebox Centre. So really glad to be playing there.
I've heard good things, but I've not actually been in there myself yet, so I might come down for that.
Right.
Make an effort for
That
it.
sounds cool.
There's a few things. There's Arm for Apocalypse and Battalions, that's playing at Opium, so Dennett will be back up, so no doubt you'll have a couple of shandies on that occasion.
Yeah.
We love you, Dennett, you're a good lad. What else have we got?
I would just say people check out like Bannerman's own page and Opium's own page, because the amount of stuff that is going on that you just goes over your head.
Yeah.
You know, you need to make sure you check it out.
In terms of Scotland, you have got, if you want to check out Hellripper before every single country in the world knows them, then do it. Because you've approximately got about 5 minutes left before.
4 minutes now.
I mean, one of the best bands Scotland's got.
Yeah, man.
You know, and they've currently just been asked by Orange Goblin to play the Christmas show with them.
Nice.
I think I saw that.
It's
something about that.
Give it a few minutes, and all the posers are going to be pissing you off by saying they discovered them. So you know.
That is actually a fair thing, because I've been following them now since I saw them at Roadburn, and I'm just like, holy fuck, man, these dudes are just pretty stoked.
There's a couple of other things like Frontier and Gendo Carrier playing through in Glasgow in July, and then you've got Harmed, that's playing at Opium on July 3rd, then you've got Tech Fest, which is July 10th. I finally got a booking put together for my November gig, but I think I'll wait until next week to tell you, so keep you all on tenterhooks, because it is in no fucking November. Yeah. So it's a good while away. But yeah, apart from that, there's a whole bunch of shit to go and see, and either pick up his book and LP and all this fun things, or ask him to get booked, or speak to this man and he might like your music. But yeah, we'll probably see you again in number 5, but see you later. Bye.
See you, pal.